Motorola has been on a roll lately, launching some really good phones with good 5G support, as we saw in our 5G in India video. And now this is here, the new Moto G62 5G. So is this another good phone by Moto? Well, I'll answer that in the end, but first let's take a look at this phone. So this is the new Moto G62, and you might be aware that this has launched in some markets globally, and it comes with a Snapdragon 480 Plus chipset, and there's only one variant with 4GB RAM. However, in India, the specs are actually different. The G62 in India comes with Snapdragon 695, and it comes in two variants, a 6GB RAM variant and a variant with 8GB of RAM, which is great. Anyway, these are the benchmarks from the phone, and I mean the Snapdragon 695 is a chipset that we have seen in a lot of phones under 20K, and it's a consistent performer, and so far the Moto G62 seems like a very smooth and responsive phone. Gaming is pretty good too. These are the graphics settings in Apex Legends, and when we played a few games on this setting, the gameplay was fairly smooth and nice, so yeah, it's promising. What also helps is the Android 12 experience. I've always been a fan of the stock Android-like UI on Moto phones, and this is no different. There's no bloatware or ads, and it's a very clean and nice experience. I also like that unlike a lot of Android 12 phones, this actually has Android 12 widgets and features. Plus, there are all the nice Moto additions like peak display, gestures, and more. As for updates, Motorola has promised the Android 13 update, and as for security patches, Motorola has promised 3 years of security patches. Anyway, apart from the chipset, this is how the phone looks like. The G62 has the PMMA finish on the back and the frame, and I like that it is a sleek and lightweight phone like most of the Moto phones of late. You can see the difference when compared to a phone like the Redmi Note 11 Pro. The fingerprint scanner is in the power button and it's fast, and I like that it has things like stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos support. The phone also has IP52 splash resistance rating, and it has the headphone jack, and there's a micro SD slot in the hybrid fashion. All this is good, but one thing to note is that it looks almost identical to the recently launched Moto phones. As you can see, it's not a big deal, but yeah, a little differentiation in the design would have been nice. Now, one thing I'm sure there will be a debate about in the comments is this display. The phone has a 120Hz IPS LCD display, and I know some people prefer high refresh rate LCDs over 60Hz AMOLEDs, while some people are team AMOLED no matter what. Now, this debate is also because the Moto G71, which launched in the same price range and with similar specs, came with AMOLED last year. Anyway, the debate aside, the IPS LCD display on the Moto G62 is fairly good. It's sharp, the colors look good, and although the viewing angles are not the best, it's okay for a budget smartphone. When it comes to brightness, the screen has a max 600 nits of brightness, so it's not the brightest screen ever, but it's not really dim either. Apart from this, the screen is fast and responsive thanks to the 120Hz refresh rate, and as for the multimedia, there's wideband L1 support, so you can watch Prime and Netflix in 1080p, no problems there. Anyway, one thing I really like about the Moto G62 5G is that it has 12 5G bands supported, and that includes all of the 8 5G bands supported in India. I mean, if you watched a video on 5G in India, you'd know that this means that the Moto G62 will have 5G support everywhere when 5G rolls out in India. Also, if you're wondering, the phone has 3CA carrier aggregation support, so that's great. There's also 4x4 MIMO, and there's NFC support. Moving to the cameras, the camera setup on the G62 is kind of what we've seen on previous Moto phones: a 50MP main sensor, an 8MP ultra-wide camera, and a 2MP macro lens. Now, the camera app is the same new camera app that we've seen in the G82 and the Edge phone, so you get all the features. Anyway, we did take some photos from the main camera. In daytime, the photos are mostly good with a nice contrasty look. I also like the details. However, in low light, the phone kind of struggles. It takes fine photos when there's decent amount of light going around, but in extreme low light, the photos have noise and sharpness issues. The ultra wide angle camera is good. It does well to retain the colors from the main camera, and the dynamic range seems pretty on point. On the video front, the phone is limited to 1080p on both the back and the front. Moving on, Motorola hasn't compromised on the battery. It's a 5000 mAh battery, which should last long considering the specs, but the phone comes with this 20-watt turbocharger, which does seem a bit underwhelming compared to 33-watt and 67-watt chargers in Realme and Xiaomi phones. Talking about the pricing of the Moto G62 5G, it starts at Rs 17,999 for the 6 128GB variant, and the 8 128GB variant costs 19,999. There are also offers like instant discount of Rs 1,750 on HDFC Bank cards, and there's also Geo benefits worth Rs 5,049. Now, in this price range, the Moto G62 5G is once again a very solid offering. Yes, there is the 120Hz IPS LCD, which is good for LCD standards, but I know some people just want AMOLED. Other than that, it has all the strong Motorola factors like the clean and nice software experience, full proper 5G support, all the basics you want like stereo speakers, headphone jack, and it has good specs all around for the price. See, this looks like a well-balanced all-around smartphone, but I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think of the Moto G62? Comment right now. Also, hit like if you enjoyed our video, subscribe to our channel for more amazing tech videos, and yeah, like always, thanks for watching. चाइनीज स्मार्टफोन मेकर्स जैसे Xiaomi और Realme काफी प्रॉब्लम में आ सकते हैं बिकॉज अकॉर्डिंग टू अ लेटेस्ट रिपोर्ट बाय ब्लूमबर्ग इंडिया